From the Hammersmith Hills Hoists, there, coach Paul Farah and halfback Wayde Kelly. Wayde, you play nines? You enjoy playing nines?
Yeah, we got an opportunity at the start of this year to play in the RFL London Nines. We managed to win. Lucky we got a bit of pace out wide, I guess, which really helps when you got a few less players on the field.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was good.
Fantastic. And Paul, I've had a text for you, in fact, 81333 if you fancy texting anything this evening. Start your message with the word London. Text charge at your standard network rate. Question for Coach Paul Farah. I'm the owner of a kebab shop in Hammersmith. I've seen yourself and other Hills Hoists players in the shop. Would you be interested in some kind of sponsorship? Are you a fan of the kebab, Paul?
Yes, definitely. Ottomans would be our unofficial food supplier. Many of the boys have been in a late night kebab run in there, and to their credit, they do let us stick some flyers up in their window to promote the club and attract players. So definitely would be happy to get a fair few free kebabs if you was offering some.
See, that's a business plan that I like. Let's attract some players. I tell you what, let's put some posters in a kebab shop. Good work, Paul from the Hammersmith Hills Hoist in the studio with us. Well, we're talking, in fact, about Aussie things. We had Aussie Luke Williams on the NRL. Wayde, I won't even ask you whether you keep abreast of things that are happening down the NRL. I'm sure it's quite close to your heart. Do you prefer it to Super League?
It is. I think, like I was saying before, what you grow up with is what you're more accustomed to and what you're used to. I love watching the game.
Why is it better than Super League?
Just the teams, I think, you're just more familiar with. I think in time the Super League has every opportunity to be up there, especially, with the amount of players they're getting to come over and try to build in rugby league in England. Just the speed of the ruck, I guess, is different, and the wrestle is a major factor that's different between an Australian game and the English game. I still get up to watch an Australian game early, occasionally on a Saturday or Sunday morning, just to get that bit of feeling of home, but also love to watch the Super League when it's televised as well.
The travel's on the way here on BBC London in just a second. But Paul, as a coach, what makes the NRL better than Super League?
I think, the speed of the game is a lot faster in the NRL, and I think the decision making is a lot different in the
NRL. In terms of
playmaking and decision making. But I think just the NRL.
What speeds the game up?
I think like Wade said, the play the ball.
But why is that slower in Super League? Is it the fact that they don't penalise for lying on? Is it the fact that the players aren't keen to get up as quick as the NRL players? Is it the tackling technique and the fact that the players have to get up, turn around and put the ball down before they... What, in terms of the actual play, is there anything you can put your finger on?
The NRL referees, I think, are a lot more vigilant and blow a lot more penalties in the ruck. You'll find the English play the ball is probably a little bit quicker. It's just the fact that there's less players in the ruck, which means the defensive line doesn't get up as quick in Super League, so you probably don't see as many of the massive hits, and you also get probably a bit more of a roll on in Super League, so it can be a bit more entertaining to watch. Once they do get that roll on, they can make a few more metres and a few more breaks.
That's Wade and Paul from the Hammersmith Hills Hoist in studio for London Rugby League until 10 o'clock this evening. Good as well to see when it gets down to the finals in that competition. More from Hammersmith. Before we turn our attention to Quins and Rugby League, looking ahead to Huddersfield at the weekend, going forward with your club, you might obviously be only here for a couple of years each. Is it difficult? It's a club that's only been around for a few years. You've done very well to build it as it is. What sort of things do you need to sort of input into? You need a lot of players, I guess. You need a lot of passion and enthusiasm. But do you rely on sponsors? Do you need sponsors, or is that nothing, not part of your game?
Yeah, you definitely need sponsors, because your three biggest costs are your obviously playing kit, your travel, and your ground hire.
Because it is a professional setup that you enter. It's not turn up, wear whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's red coloured tops each, and we'll all be okay. You need proper kits, and
that's right. You got to look the part, and if you're going to do it, you got to do it properly. So we've been pretty lucky that last season when we started, the Shepherd's Bush Walkabout and First Festival Travel in particular obviously helped us out with some sponsorship, amongst a couple of others in Vibe Teaching and Down Under Tradies and Jumbucks Pies. So without their help, the club wouldn't have really got off the ground, because the 5 or 6 of the boys that were looking to start the club were happy to put in their money to order the jerseys, shorts and socks, but the other costs that come with it, like insurance, registration, there's only so much of your own money you're prepared to put in. So without those guys, the club wouldn't be where it is today. So we obviously appreciate that, and any club that looks to be successful in the future needs to explore sponsorship, because you can't do without it.
And this weekend, you're heading down to Portsmouth to play Portsmouth Navy Seahawks. They just sound like a big team.
They are a very big team. Last time we played them, they were a team of some very big boys. I think they're predominantly union-based, but apparently a much more difficult task down at Portsmouth. I do believe they had a few players out when we played them last time, and it is a bit of a road trip, so everybody's pumped at training, and hopefully everybody gets there tomorrow afternoon to get through a good session, and we can go down and be ready to put on a good show.
That's Wayde Kelly, halfback for Hammersmith Hills Hoists, and with us as well Paul Farah, their head coach. Right now, though, we'll turn our attention back to Super League. Huddersfield Giants round 23.
It's Paul here. How are you, mate?
I'm good.
I just got a quick question for you as a supporter of the Quins, and obviously Wayde and myself here in the studio are big rugby league fans.
Yep.
Do you think the Quins could be potentially more successful if they moved away from Twickenham and were based in somewhere else in London? Do you think they're in the right part of London to be successful and create or get fans out to the games?
Well, it's an age-old question, but I think moving again would be a bit of a killer.
Yeah.
People say it's a long way out. I mean, it's a 10-minute walk from Twickenham station, and
yeah.
I think the other thing that Ramo was talking to you about earlier on was the Aussies in London and that.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have put it on the line tonight. You prefer NRL, and in my experience, a lot of the Aussies that I know, at weekends they're going to Europe. They're going to Paris for the weekend or Barcelona for the weekend. That's what they're here for.
Yeah, that's right. And would you say a majority of your fans are obviously being a fan that travels, do you have fans all over London? Like, where would you say sort of the majority of your fans?
Oh, they're all over London.
All over, so you've got a relatively wide range of support, which that's good anyway.
Yeah,
so.
all over London.
I mean, Nigel, it is one of those debates that, we've had, over numerous weeks and years and stuff. They're on in the season. Quick word for Hammersmith just before we go, guys. Portsmouth this weekend. What do you reckon? Can you catch St Albans, or can you beat them in the grand final?
I think finishing first in the regular season is probably past us. So we just need to get a couple of wins under our belt to get the confidence back. Back-to-back losses is tough, especially when you're not used to it. So I think it's how we bounce back from these two losses in the next 3 regular season games that'll determine whether we can beat them or not.
That's Paul Farah from the Hammersmith Hills Hoists, and we've had Wayde Kelly in the studio with us as well. Guys, thank you for coming in. I hope you've enjoyed your time. Had an interview with Jamie O'Callaghan as well, which I might well put in the podcast if you want to have a listen.